In today's video, we're gonna learn a top secret special hack called the acabar de hack. This hack allows you to speak about the past without needing to learn the past tense. The verb acabar is one of the most commonly used verbs in Spanish and is directly translated as to finish. However, the meaning can change slightly depending on which preposition it's used with. By the end of this video, you'll know several different uses of this verb along with some examples you'll come across in everyday life as a Spanish speaker. Got it? Okay, let's go. Before we dive deeper into acabar de and see how it's used as a shortcut to speak about the past, let's take a step back and look at the root verb acabar on its own, as well as its use with some other prepositions. Acabar means to finish something or even to put an end to something. It can be used as both a transitive and an intransitive verb. For example, la niña acaba su tarea temprano para poder salir a jugar. Translates to, the girl finishes her homework early so she can go outside to play. And if we were having a little dinner, I could say, acábate el resto del vino, necesito botar la botella, which translates to, finish the rest of the wine, I need to throw away the bottle. Different contexts call for the use of different prepositions with acabar. Here are some of the most common prepositions we can use and with examples. Here's a great example of using acabar de to mean just. Acabo de llegar means I have just arrived. Acabo de llegar. I have just arrived. We have acabamos de comprar los regalos translates to we just bought the presents. Acabamos de comprar los regalos. We just bought the presents. Now let's learn how to use acabar con, which means to finish with, to finish up, or to bring an end to something. Acabar con. So we have an example. Ellos acabaron con la renovación de la casa en marzo. Translates to, they finished with the home renovations in March. Ellos acabaron con. And we have another example. Él acabó con toda la comida. Means he finished up all the food. Él acabó con toda la comida. He finished up all the food. So how did we end up here? Let's take a look at acabar por, which means to end up. Si no tienes un mapa, acabarás por perderte. Acabarás por perderte. Translates, if you don't have a map, you'll end up getting lost. Our next one we have, si no descansas la mente, acabarás por odiar tu carrera. Acabarás por. Translates to, if you don't rest your mind, you'll end up hating your career. Not to get too confusing, but now let's see how to use acabar in, which means to finish up in or end up in. Todos los asesinos deben acabar en la cárcel. Acabar en la cárcel, which means all murderers must end up in jail. Another one is, acabaré en un manicomio si los niños no vuelven a clases pronto. Acabaré en un manicomio. Translates to, I'll end up in a madhouse if the kids don't go back to school soon. Now that you have an idea of some uses of acabar, let's bring our focus back to acabar de, the acabar de hack. Let's break down simple conjugations by using 3 different tenses and a pronoun. Here's our sentence. Yo acabo de cenar, which translates to I just finished dinner. Yo acabo de cenar. The personal pronoun is yo, and we're using the present tense acabo de. Now, let's look at another example broken down the same way. The sentence is, ellos acaban de comerse el postre. No les des más azúcar. Ellos acaban de comerse el postre. This translates to they just ate dessert, don't give them more sugar. The personal pronoun here is ellos, and we say acaban de for the present tense. For even more examples in different tenses, check out our handy guide in the description below. And remember, if you want to learn how to speak Spanish, make sure to check out baseling.com, where you get access to unlimited one-on-one Spanish classes with native speaking teachers via video chat. Let's take a look at an example of a compound form of acabar de. Here we go. Ustedes habían acabado de salir cuando ella llegó. Acabado de salir, which translates to you had just left when she arrived. The personal pronoun here is ustedes, and we're using the past perfect tense, which in this case is habían acabado de. Acabar de in present subjunctive. Since acabar de describes something which has finished in the past, it is not used in future conjugations. When describing what will happen once something finishes, however, we can use the present subjunctive. Although it has not happened yet, we use this form to say that once we finish the current action, we will do the next. For example, if I say cuando acabe de comer, lo llamaré. This translates to once I finish eating, I will call him. The sentence cuando acabes de estudiar, podemos salir a caminar. Then translates to once you finish studying, we can go for a walk. As with many verbs in Spanish, we can use acabar de conjugated followed by a second verb in the infinitive to express that the action described by the second verb is finishing. Let's say we're at the movies and I do the unthinkable of answering my cell phone. I could say, La película acaba de empezar, which translates to the movie just started. Similarly, if I said nosotros acabamos de cenar, this translates to we just had dinner. The verbs acabar, to end, and terminar, to finish, are synonyms in many contexts. You can use either one to express that an action has ended. Let's look at a sentence in English, then a acabar and terminar version of that sentence. In English, if I said, the class just ended an hour ago, using acabar, I would say, la clase acaba de terminar hace una hora. That is using acabar. Now, if I wanted to use the word terminar, I would say, la clase terminó hace una hora. La clase terminó hace una hora. Quick tip. When we talk about ending relationships, whether personal or professional, it's best to express it using terminar rather than acabar. For example, debo terminar mi relación laboral actual para aceptar la nueva oferta. Debo terminar mi relación. This translates to I must end my current employment relationship to accept the new offer. You can use both verbs in the same sentence to avoid repeating the same words. For example, you can say, La clase acaba de terminar, which translates to the class just ended. We have the other example, Acabé el proyecto a las 11 p.m. Terminé exhausto, which means I finished the project at 11 p.m. I ended up exhausted. Finally, saying acabamos de comer y nos terminamos toda la caja de cereal, acabamos de comer y nos terminamos toda la caja de cereal translates to we just ate and we finished the entire box of cereal.
They're great!
¿Acabas de ver este video? Did you just watch this video? Well, then you've just learned the acabar de hack to easily talk in the past. For even more examples, check out our guide in the description below. And if you want to practice what you learned, then why not schedule your first Baseling class today? At baseling.com, you get access to unlimited one-on-one Spanish classes with native-speaking teachers, all via Zoom. Try your first week for only $1. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.